So here are my top tips for sounding more like a bopper on rhythm changes. If you ever look at a chart for the A section of rhythm changes, you're going to find a lot of chords. Oh my goodness, what are all these chords doing? How will we ever learn to play this horrible piece of music? Which is quite how I think a lot of people feel about rhythm changes. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that actually it's a bit easier than it looks, especially if you understand a little bit about the history of the tune. So the first 2 bars of rhythm changes is a turnaround. Boom, boom, boom. B flat major 7th or major 6th, G minor 7, C minor 7th, F7. Simplest kind of 1, 6, 2, 5 you can get. Now, very important point. Barry Harris used to point out that Charlie Parker basically never played G7 in the first bar of rhythm changes. If you look at like any Parker solo, you won't find him use the B, which is the major 3rd of G7 outside the key of B flat. He won't do that in bar 1, which is very interesting because lots and lots of charts and lots of YouTubers have a G7 chord there. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it does have an effect on the line, and I've come to prefer not playing the G7 in bar 1, even though that's how I did it for years. So if you've been doing it that way, don't feel bad, and it's not even necessarily wrong, but I'm going to try and make a case today as to why it will make you sound more boppy if you don't put the G7 in bar 1, if that's what you've already been doing. Okay, so the upshot of this, I mean, B flat major, G minor 7, they're the same chord with a different bass note. They're different inversions of the same thing. So that's just B flat major, right? Now we're going to call this B flat major as well. It's a 2/5, so you could technically play like, you could play a 2/5 lick there if you wanted to, but I think it's just going to get a little bit too complicated at first. It's something you can introduce later. So I'm just going to say, yeah, first 2 bars, B flat. So we're going to make up a nice melody in B flat, or you know, borrow 1. Or, you know, whatever you like there, really, doesn't matter. So this is your space to do something very simple. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. And if you notice, like for instance, Parker's solo on Moose the Mooch, he plays a few lines. He plays a few little things, you know, which are just like, you know, but very, very little simple little B flat lines at the beginning of bits of his solo, just for those first 2 bars. I think it's a really nice thing to do. It kind of gives you a space to breathe. Okay, now comes the turnaround. So we're going to outline very strongly B flat major, G7 flat 9, C minor, F7. Now we're going to do this basically with triads, B flat major, G major, or alternatively we can use, what's that now? A flat diminished triad. I just think of it as a G major triad with the G raised up by a half step. C minor triad, F major, or F7 if you prefer, doesn't matter. But keep it really simple. And this is the key thing. I find 3 or 4 notes is a bit too much. I like 2 notes. So I could play something like this. Zaboom, baboom, de boo, daboom. Or maybe zaboom, something like that, right? So just using a couple of notes, bouncing between 2 notes is nice. Daboom, baboom, daboom, baboom. That's just bouncing between B flat and D, B and D, C and E flat, A. You could do E flat or F, you know, I don't really mind, or there's different options. So have a clear pathway there and then come up with a strong rhythm. So boom ba boom da be da bum. Nice bebop line there. That sounds like a bit like the sort of thing that Parker might do in a head, you know, something like anthropology or something, okay? So do that. And we're just going to join those two ideas together. So nice major melody. Okay. Now we're going to go from a B flat 7 chord into an E flat 7 chord, and we can do some kind of, you know, substitution if you like, or you can just play a straight B flat 7 thing. It's nice to use a little enclosure there to get into the E flat major. And then we're going to make a B line for the D flat note there, the we could play a blues, something like that, but we're going to really bring out that D flat sound in the key of B flat, right? You go, that's quite a common one, going up the scale, B flat minor scale to the 3rd there. Peter Parker doing that a lot, and then you can do either a straightforward B flat thing, that kind of blues lick, or you could do the turnaround again. Okay, so the whole thing will sound something like this. B section. Okay, now what we're going to do for the B section, we're going to play a different dominant scale on each of these chords. And if you add the notes in, according to my recent videos on the subject, on the Barry Harris added note rules, that's useful. You could just play thirds. Should have been that. You know, you've got these lovely things where you've got like semitones below the thirds. All that stuff's available to you. Great. Arpeggios are great. Substitute arpeggios could be the original. A little bit vanilla maybe. The 5 is good. You can extend it as well, or you know, you can put in a major 7th into that A minor thing, you know, to make it more of a melodic minor sound. You know, bay up, the augmented is very nice there. So this is like flat 7 augmented. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And that also opens up the possibility of using the whole tone scale. You've got the diminished scales with the flat 13. So, and then, you know, you could do that. Anyway, there's millions of possibilities on dominant chords, and best thing is they stick around for 2 bars, so you've got a bit of time to do it. One particular trick I like is to tritone substitute every second dominant, so that you can have a little descending thing like that. And that's quite nice, because then you can just play the same motif in a really stupid way over the top. So you can play something like, you know, bay is up and move on, bay is up and move on, bay it up and move on, bay it up and move on, and then resolve. For tritone subs, often just straight triads sound really, really good. Don't worry about that note because it's cool. Okay, so that's a very simple thing to do. I think actually in general, if you listen to bebop heads, you'll often notice that people play like riffs on the B section if they're not actually just soloing. But in any case, I think the B section is really your chance to express yourself, because you've got a bit more flexibility and a bit more freedom with those slightly longer dominant chords. And it's the A section that I suspect most people struggle with, just trying to get those boxed in changes. There are a few different things you can do to extend this. So you can play a 2-5 in bar 2 if you like. So you can play like a 2-5 lick there, and then do your turnaround. You can do like, that's nice, that's like the A flat major 7th to the 9th of the A, E flat chord there, but then we're still playing the D flat, flat 9 on the F7, okay? And then you've got other things you can do, like you can play D minor, G7 flat 9. So for the second half, so for the bars 3 to 4, so something like this. Yeah. Or you can use the thing where you slide down by a semitone. Instead of playing the G7, you can play the D flat minor 7th. Ready? So there's loads of stuff there, but I think like just thinking about bit of B flat, bit of turnaround, going into E flat, bit of blues, and then back to B flat or back to the turnaround afterwards. It's a really, really effective way to have a simple but flexible template for playing rhythm changes, and it does kind of make you sound like a bopper as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you find that useful. Comment, like, subscribe, all the rest of it. See you on the next one. Bye.